Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida, and we're waiting for our K1 visa to get adjudicated at the service center in California, US of A. And our NOA1 letter is receipt dated April 18th, 2022, and today is April 18th, 2023, so it's the 1-year anniversary of our waiting for our visa. But that's okay. 1 year today. We don't count days. If you count days, you'll go crazy. But 1 year to 1 year is 365 days. So now we continue with waiting for next month and this month to pass. But this video, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is about visas and the U.S. Embassy in the beautiful island of Malta. Malta. I know Malta very well. I'm very familiar with this beautiful little island. Come on along. Now, I live in the panhandle of Florida, just east of Pensacola, north of Navarre Beach, about 30 minutes from Navarre Beach, in beautiful, hot, humid Florida, although today's is a pretty chilly day today. Normally, well, that's April for you. And Karina is from Caracas, Venezuela, and she is a legal resident of Bogota, Colombia, where she is the manager of a couple of ice cream stores. I'm a real estate agent. I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm a real estate agent. And but right now, I'm a YouTuber putting together a YouTube channel for you guys to help you get through this immigration process. And you can do this. And I'm going to talk today about Malta and the immigration process and the embassy information, etc. So come on, let's go. Now, Malta, officially called the Republic of Malta, or in Maltese, it's the Repubblica ta Malta. It's an island country, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in the Mediterranean Sea, my favorite water next to the Gulf of Mexico. And Malta basically consists of an archipelago of islands between Italy and Libya, and is part of southern Europe, okay? Now, Malta lies 50 miles south of Sicily. Now, I lived in Sicily for 3 years when I was in the Navy, and it lies 176 miles east of Tunisia and 207 miles north of Libya. So Malta's right here, Libya's right here, Sicily's over here somewhere. Beautiful country. And I lived in Malta for 2 years when I was a kid with my mom and dad. But we had to evacuate, I believe it was 1971, after they had the Maltese elections. And apparently the Maltese government didn't want us living in Malta anymore, and so we had to leave, which was fine with me. But I loved the 2 years I spent living there. Beautiful place. The official language of Malta is Maltese and English. 66% of the folks living in Malta are very conversational in Italian. So it's English, Maltese, and Italian. I guess the Italian came from the Sicilian influx. People from Sicily, I guess, used to control Malta back in the day, but not anymore. There's a population of about 516,000 people over an area of 122 square miles. So it's a very tiny island with a lot of people. And Malta is classified as the 10th smallest country in the world by area. And it's the 4th most densely populated sovereign country. The capital city of Malta is Valletta, and I remember Valletta very well. I remember that city, and it is the smallest national capital in the European Union. Very interesting. The state religion of Malta is Catholic, but the Constitution of Malta guarantees the freedom of conscience and religious worship. So whatever you want to be, you can be in Malta. The economy of Malta is heavily reliant on tourism, which would be me and you guys if you want to go there. And, you know, because it's in the Mediterranean Sea, it's a great tourist destination for folks who live in Europe who are cold and miserable throughout the whole year because Europe is cold and rainy most of the time. Malta is a ray of sunshine with its warmer climate compared to the rest of Europe. And it has numerous recreational areas, you know, and it also has architecture and historical monuments, including the Haus Saflieni, the Hypogeum, and in Valletta, the capital city, there's lots of history with the architecture, and the 7 megalithic temples, which are some of the oldest freestanding structures in the whole world. So it's very historical. Man, I'm eating these chips, and I got chips all over my shirt. So let me brush them off before I continue with this very important video. Now, Malta has a Mediterranean climate, Köppen climate classification, CSA, whatever that means, with mild winters and hot summers, but it's even hotter in the inland areas of the island, and rain occurs mainly like in the fall and wintertime, with summer being generally dry. Now, when I lived in Malta as a kid, I remember the summers being brutally hot. So I used to grab my towel and my flippers, jump on the bus, and go to some of the beaches and go swimming. Now, in Malta, a lot of the rock face is all limestone. So you can lay out on the limestone and then just look into the Mediterranean Sea and look down 100 feet in clear crystal bathwater, clean water. Beautiful place. So I remember that very vividly. The average yearly temperature is in the summer is 73 degrees during the daytime, or actually during the whole year. And at nighttime it's like 59.9 degrees Fahrenheit. And Malta is classified as an advanced economy. And in 1869, the Suez Canal opened up, and this gave Malta a huge economic boost because there was a massive increase in shipping, shipping which entered the port of Malta. And the ships would stop at the Maltese docks for refueling, and this definitely helped the economy of the island, bringing lots of benefits to everybody. Right now, the major economy of Malta is based upon like I said, tourism and also limestone. And it has a favorable geographic location with a productive labor force. So they sell limestone. I remember the whole island was basically limestone. Beautiful, but it's beautiful. It's so beautiful there. The national airline in Malta is called Air Malta, and it's in the main, island of Malta, and based at Malta International Airport. And it operates services to 36 destinations in Europe and North Africa. So if you want to once you get your K1 visa, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're probably going to have to catch a flight from Malta to Europe, and then from Europe to the United States. I don't think they have direct flights to the United States, but who knows? Things could change. The owner of Air Malta is government, 98%, private 2%. So 2% of the airlines in Malta are privately owned, and 98% is ran by the government. And it employs 1,547 people. So it's a good job creator too. Maltese is the official language of Malta, and English is also an official language in the country, and thus the laws in Malta are enacted both in Maltese and English. That's pretty interesting. Now let's talk about Maltese cuisine. Let's talk about Maltese food, my favorite subject. Maltese cuisine shows a strong Sicilian and Italian influence, okay, as well as influences from English food, Spanish food, and also Maghrebin and Provençal cuisines, whatever they are. Food has been very important historically in the development of its national identity in Malta. In particular, okay, the traditional fincata, which is the eating of stewed or fried rabbit, and potatoes are a staple of the Maltese diet as well. So if you like stewed or fried rabbit, you need to go to Malta and check out their delicacies. Me, I'm going to stick with steak, steak from cows. Now, there are, so food is important in Malta. And there's a number of grapes that are also endemic to Malta, including Gigantina and Gallezza. So Malta has its own grapes. There's a strong wine industry in Malta. Imagine that. They got their own grapes with a significant production of wines using the native grapes, as well as locally grown grapes, and they make wines such as Chardonnay and Syrah. And a number of the wines in Malta have achieved a protected designation of origin. So, that means it's basically copyrighted to Malta, produced from grapes cultivated in Malta and Gozo. And Gozo and Camino are little islands in the north of Malta. Beautiful. I have never been to Gozo or Camino, but I've been to Malta. Ooh. And these are called DOK wines, D-O-K wines. Now, the Maltese ladies, when they get pregnant, okay, they have these traditions that they believe will predict the sex of their child, of their preborn baby, such as the cycle of the moon, on the anticipated date of the birth, whether the baby is carried high or whether the baby is carried low, and the movement of a wedding ring dangled on a string above the lady's abdomen. Sideways denotes a girl, and back and forth will denote a boy. Okay, that's good. So they have lots of cultural traditions too that they employ in beautiful Malta. So let's talk about the U.S. Navy. I was in the United States Navy for 20 years, and I've traveled the world for free, and actually I got paid to travel the world. And the USS NITZE DDG-94, which is a guided missile destroyer, entered into Malta's beautiful Grand Harbor on the 11th of March 2023. And while in Malta, the officers and crew enjoyed shore leave and had the opportunity to immerse themselves in the cultural and historic heritage of beautiful Malta. Oh, I'm so jealous. The U.S. Ambassador Constance J. Milstein, she's the lady that runs the U.S. Embassy in Malta. She welcomed the arrival of the USS NITZE, stating, "It is a pleasure to have the USS NITZE and her crew in Malta." And she also gave credit to the commanding officer of this ship, Commanding Officer Katie Jacobson, which basically underscores the immeasurable contribution of women in America's military. And I salute you, Commander! Now let's talk a little bit about the U.S. Embassy in Malta and K-1 visas. In fiscal year 2022, there was one K-1 visa approved by the U.S. State Department in Malta. So apparently there's only one lady from Malta that wanted to marry an American. And you got to remember the island is such a small place. The population is so small. So that's typical. And the address to the U.S. Embassy is right here. That's the address. And then right here, that's the phone number. That's the phone number to the U.S. Embassy in Malta. And then right here, that's the email, if you want to email them for consular inquiries. You can also email them right here. And the U.S. Embassy is located near the center of the island in Takali. So it's dead center in the island of Malta. So if you are a beneficiary in Malta, waiting for your K-1 visa, and you need directions to the U.S. Embassy, okay, you're going to go southbound from St. Julian's or Mesida. You keep right and follow the road signs to Umdina, okay? If you're from northbound Malta, northbound from Marsa or Lucca, keep to the left and follow the signs to Umdina and continue onto the Maria bypass and head towards Trig El Umdina, okay? And then you continue to the National Nas Janali. Parking area at the traffic circle opposite from the U.S. Embassy. So you're going to park in a big traffic circle that's right across the street from the U.S. Embassy. And the consular entrance is on the right side of the embassy. There's also a bus service if you want to catch the bus to the U.S. Embassy. and public buses provide service near the U.S. Embassy in Takali. Okay, so if you want to find out the bus schedule, I'm going to give you the website to the bus schedule in Malta. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, soon you will have your K1 visa and K2 visa in your hand for the kiddies. Be patient, stay strong, and to our friends in Malta, thanks for watching the video. And one day, soon after Karina and I have got married and she becomes an American citizen, we're going to return. I'm going to return to Malta with her on vacation. I lived in Malta for 2 years. I went back on vacation for 2 weeks, and then I went back on vacation for 1 day. I spent a day in Malta when I flew from Sicily to Malta to London. I just had to go to Malta for the day. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon in the United States of America.